This week on a very special Blossom. No, here's what happened. We're re-recording the intro because Jeff and I recorded the episode Renaissance Man, and then the next day we got a chance to talk to the screenwriter Jim Burnstein, which we didn't know we were going to be able to do. So a bunch of the stuff that we say in this interview, once you hear him talk, will sound like we're stupid, which is true, but it's because we didn't know the stuff that he was going to tell us when we recorded it.
Yeah, we speculate a lot of stuff and try to guess at what happens, and then he tells us the answers to all of that.
And he just tells us the answer.
Yeah.
Great. We weren't in the future. We were in the present. So we'll do our intro, our normal intro, our ratings. Then we'll throw to his interview. It's like 20 minutes. And then we'll come back and do the rest of the episode. But don't be surprised if it's like, man, these guys weren't listening at all when Jim was talking. We were. It just happened later.
Yeah. Man, they weren't listening at all. Exactly. Yes. Great interview, too. You're going to love it.
Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Welcome to Movie Life Crisis. Join us as we watch the best movies from 30 years ago.
The Army wanted to make them into soldiers.
Eat now and taste them later. Yes, your soldier!
Bill Rago
I've never taught before, and you've never thought before.
wanted to open their mind.
This is Hamlet.
I think you're wasting my time.
Your time?
Their time is my time, Bill.
Touchstone Pictures presents Danny DeVito in a Penny Marshall film,
Talk about anal. You must have been toilet trained at gunpoint.
Oh, that's it. That is it.
Renaissance Man.
Danny DeVito,
I love it.
Renaissance Man.
Every time my daughter hears Danny DeVito's voice in like a cartoon or something, she just goes, "They slice it right in front of you." Just like the commercial for the freaking whatever subs.
Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's.
Apparently, he wanted to be the spokesman for Jersey Mike's because he actually legitimately eats there all the time, and I think he lives in New Jersey still for part of the year. And
Nice.
he was like, "I'll do it. I like the food."
You want to pay me to do this? Because I'm eating it for free now. Let's do it.
Not like Rookie of the Year where he's like pitching beans. He's like not real sure what kind of beans it is. Like Danny DeVito likes Jersey Mike's. He's keeping
Upside
it real.
down.
Movie Life Crisis Season 4, Episode 18. Suddenly we find ourselves more than half the way through 1994.
Blowing through it. I can't believe that's a lot of episodes.
Yeah, man. Well, I have to look it up because we're gonna hit 100 episodes of the podcast. I think before the end of the year, but I don't remember exactly when. I probably should look that up.
Well, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, man. That's
100
awesome.
episodes. That's a lot of work.
That's a lot, dude. It's a lot of talking about movies, and maybe 18 of those are movies that people remember.
No, we got more than that.
We're coming off of IQ, Legends of the Fall, freaking Renaissance Man. Then we go into Hudsucker Proxy. It's going to be like 2 months of episodes where even people our age are going to be like, what?
What is this?
And we had someone come into our Discord that has a movie podcast and was like, I didn't know about IQ. It's like, that's how deep we're going.
They remembered IQ. It was
They did.
It was Patrick.
It
They
was Patrick
remembered
from
IQ,
Vintage Video.
which is a fantastic podcast too. You should check it out if you like this.
Yeah, if you want to hear all the 80s movies, that's where you go.
Yeah.
This is funny because this movie did not make a lot of money and no one thought it was very good. And when we did the list for this year, you and I were both like, we'll definitely do that one.
Well, we gotta do. Yeah, the whole time I was like, well, we gotta. And then I looked at when we looked at it, I was like, God, why has it got such a bad review? Like 12% Rotten Tomatoes ain't that good.
12% Rotten Tomatoes, 1.5 stars when it was released. Ebert gave it a thumbs down. Siskel gave it a thumbs up.
Nice. Which one died?
They both died. But I think, give us a synopsis.
Siskel and Ebert. Renaissance Man, a comedy drama directed by Penny Marshall. Freaking love her. A story follows Bill Rago, which is Danny DeVito. They slice it right in front of you. And an unemployed advertising executive who reluctantly takes a job teaching basic literacy to a group of underachieving Army recruits.
$40 million budget, $24 million gross. This thing lost money. 57 on the year between Quiz Show and Blue Chips, 2 movies that we've did on the podcast. We're hitting all the hot spots.
We're knocking them out.
I mean, we did like Lion King and all the important shit too,
Yeah,
Pulp
we
Fiction,
did
but we're
those.
doing like,
Yeah.
we're going deep.
Yeah. Did you see that they re-released this towards the end of the year in September under a different name in Seattle?
But it's fun, man. I like it.
Dude, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree.
Did you find any awards?
No, just it's not number one on the charts, but it's number one in our hearts. They did. I remember this movie. I remember a lot of it.
I remember a lot of it too. I saw it up more than one time. I probably saw it more than one and less than 10 times I don't know if I owned it, but I might have owned it.
I definitely saw this more than 10 times. This was one that Biggin and I watched a lot, so I saw it more than that. But dude, I going into it, sometimes because even if it's been 10 years, you don't remember all the stuff.
No.
I remember the stuff going in.
I kept thinking because it's got a lot of, it's like a lot of other movies that I like. It's like Cadence, which we love.
Yeah.
Except without the dark ending.
Yeah, right.
And it's like freaking Dead Poet Society, which I love.
Yeah.
Like it's like freaking Dangerous Minds. Like pretty soon he's going to be teaching them how to dance. It's like rap, but really it's William Shakespeare. Like it's all those tropes that like some white person's going to save black people by teaching them about Shakespeare or whatever. And I always like those movies.
Oh man.
It's like freaking Hilary Swank did it, and Michelle Pfeiffer did it,
right.
And Robin Williams did it. Robin Williams was white kids, but still.
Yeah. Danny DeVito does it.
Danny DeVito did it. Yeah, it was awesome, dude. I love those types of movies.
Agreed. Dude, it's very heartwarming. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I actually got a message from Biggin's aunt on Facebook and was just like, hey, this is Chris's aunt, Linda. I met you guys at the farm one time. So I was thinking about Chris and just want to tell you how much he loved you. And I was like, oh yeah, me and Jeff do a movie podcast. We talk all the time about how much he liked a lot of the movies that we're doing and how much we know about them because of him. And she's like, oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's freaking great.
Shout out Biggin's Aunt Linda on Facebook.
That's freaking great. Yeah,
Gone but not forgotten.
Yeah, dude, this is definitely I own this one on DVD for sure. And the reason I owned it on DVD is because of Biggin. Yeah. It was one of the ones that he was like, dude, we got to watch this. It's hysterical. You're going to love it. They slice it right in front of you. And dude, now it's one that I quote all the time. So where did you see it first? Do you remember or you don't remember?
Because you guys were a couple of years older than I was. I probably saw it either with you and Biggin or like rented it because you or Biggin told me that it was awesome.
Right. I wish dude, I know you said like Cadence, and the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, what is it that I like about it? That's the whole idea of this podcast. And the whole time I was just like, is it because he's a teacher and I can relate to that? Is it because he teaches really dumb kids and I can relate to that? Like, I don't know I still haven't really figured it out. I know like it hits you in the feels every once in a while. But it's also got funny, like, I don't know, man. It's just.
From the stories you've told me about the kids that you teach, these people that are supposed to be dumb in the Army seem way too smart.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because like they had to write like, oh, we just write why you joined the Army. And then all of them read these like poignant essays about, with imagery about how they left their horrible circumstances and joined the Army. And I'm just trying to imagine your classes doing stuff like that, how terrible it would be.
Yeah. And the fact that
and then them going like, never mind my Sports Illustrated, tell me more about Hamlet.
Yeah, drop some more on Hamlet. When they're like, write why you're here. And the kid's like, because they told us to be. It's just like,
this is where they told us to go.
Yeah. He's like, no, that magical twist of fate that prompted you to gravitate towards the institutes of imbeciles or however he said it. And like, they don't know. That's what I deal with all day. So that maybe that is why I like it. It's the teaching thing. That's why I like it.
Yeah, dude, but you've been liking this since way before you were a teacher.
I know. It's just so, dude, it's funny. It's got heart. It's great.
Well,
to hear Biggin go, who's an animal, Larry? Your mother's an animal. Like he used to do that all the time.
Dude, we've been doing two times for 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoop.
Yeah. So I'm sure I rented this one. Probably when it first came out, and you saw it with Biggin.
Yeah, I did.
How do you rate this?
Dude, it's got heart. It's got humor. All the stuff I'm looking for in a movie. There's outside stuff, but it's not real outside. It's not like Legends of the Fall outside. There's no Brad Pitt. There's no Robert Redford.
Yeah, there's no golden hour. No one ever rides a horse.
Right. I gave it an 8.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I'll definitely say 8. I definitely will watch this again without a doubt.
I would happily watch this again. I feel sure. I don't know why I would, but I liked the whole thing. My main complaint is that it's slightly over 2 hours, which is way longer than I would like it to be. But I wasn't really bored, and thinking back, there's not a lot that I would have taken out.
That's what I was going to ask. Like when I got to the end, I was like, oh, because I always put that in the top of my notes, how long it is. And I'm always like, yeah, it felt like Legends of the Fall felt like it was 3 days long. This didn't feel like it was 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like
this, I really like because the bulk of the movie is just him in the classroom with the Double D Squad, and I like all of that stuff.
Right.
I think that's a really fun. Like every one of the actors is really good. They all like. I don't know how the writer was able to give all 7 of these army people like distinct backstories and characterization. I don't know if that's all in the script or if that's partially Penny Marshall and partially the actors, but they all.
Yeah.
Like if you told me like, hey, make up a story where one person teaches 7 people, they would all 7 be the exact same person. I don't know how to make them all be distinct, and every one of them was. And I just think that's super cool.
You start off with Melvin. Like he was country, but so was
Marky Mark.
Yeah, Willahoochee, Georgia, Willacoochee, whatever it was, and but they were distinctly separate. And then the whole idea why he was asleep and how they could encapsulate that whole thing in just like the 2 minutes where he reads the mail. Dude, that was great. Like,
well, that's the part of the movie that's really good. It's like not on my favorite scenes, but there's a mail call. Melvin gets a letter from home. It's from one of his younger brothers, and he's talking about like his freaking dad's Camaros, new whatever.
Right.
And then how his dad like knocked someone else down the stairs because he drove it too fast. And he's like, that's my stepdad.
Yeah.
And it's like his little brother saying like how different it is since Melvin joined the army, and he's just like, man, I ain't never gonna hit my kids.
Right.
I was like, that's a freaking serious like after school special moment for Melvin that we didn't need to have, but I like that tells you so much about that character.
It adds it to it. It's great.
So when I start thinking about stuff that I'm gonna take out, like I don't want to take that out. Like I could take out the whole Hobbs storyline where he's actually there under a fake name. Right. But I like that. I think that's awesome.
That's the only part that the guy who wrote it, that's the only part that they said was like a part that actually happened because he wrote this from people he actually knew.
Yeah, Jim Burnstein, the screenwriter, actually had this experience teaching Shakespeare to army people, and that's where he wrote the script based on.
Right.
Yeah, like I was thinking, like I could take out that subplot that maybe save me a few minutes. I maybe get him quicker from the advertising agency into the job.
Right.
That saves me a few minutes. Like I kind of like it, but if I'm at 2 hours and I'm looking for stuff to cut, that's probably where I would start.
What about the daughter? You take that out?
I mean, I could maybe take out the baseball game.
Yeah.
But that again is like, the writer met Penny Marshall in Detroit to scout locations, and they went to a Tigers game, and Penny Marshall's like, this is great. We got to do a scene here. The writer and his family are in the stands right behind him.
Danny
DeVito and his daughter.
I saw that. That's
so
awesome.
It's like, yeah, you could cut some of that stuff out, but I can see why they didn't do it. It's not because none of it really takes all that long, and it all kind of adds to the layers.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would have made a giant difference. If you cut this to an hour 45, I don't think it suddenly is like a huge successful movie.
Is it because Danny DeVito can't be a leading man? I don't think that's a thing, because I think...
I don't think so. Sorry, before we get too far into it, I give it a 6 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a little bit long. I really like all of Danny DeVito and the Double D Squad on the bass. I really like how the movie ends. It's like super satisfying for me to tie everything up in a neat little bow.
Yeah.
And like, I mean... Dude, the movie opens with freaking helicopter shots of Detroit and Flip Fantasia, and it says directed by Penny Marshall. I was like, I'm already having a fun time.
Yeah, this is great. I'm already clapping.
Yeah, like, and then it says produced by Andrew Vanja, and I was like, oh, I know that guy's name.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I write that down in my notes. I'm like, that's the guy that freaking produced, like Die Hard and Rambo. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah. It did. I totally agree.
So
I could see how you give it a 6, though. Is that because there is no 7s? That's why you dropped it down to 6?
Yeah, I was thinking between 6.5 and a 6.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's not a ton of quotes that I was like, I'm going to be using a lot. And there's not a lot of like, it feels like exactly a 6. Like it's a movie that I like, that's fun to watch, that I'll watch again.
Yeah.
That also, if you deleted it from my memory, like The Matrix, my life wouldn't really be all that much different.
It wouldn't be that different. You're right.
If you delete A League of Their Own, like a third of my personality is now gone away.
Anything with Danny DeVito's voice, I'm gonna give a good score to. Dude, I want that guy to read all the audiobooks.
I was trying to figure out why I like Danny DeVito so much, why I like watching him work so much, and I don't know the answer, but I do really like it.
That's because he's funny. He's so great.
He's great, man. This movie came out when my co-host and I were in high school, and we watched it a bunch. We had it. He still owns it on DVD.
Excellent.
And when we do the podcast, we always go like, this movie's not as good as I remembered. Or it's like, this movie's actually even better than I remembered. And like, why is this nowhere? Why can't people find this?
They're still sending me residuals for it. So that tells me that it's playing somewhere.
Well, that's great. Yeah.
I don't know 100% sure. I just know that it's, not paying what it did at the start, but the first, man, up until 2008, the residuals were insane.
And I actually wanted to start with you. This is the first produced screenplay that I saw on your IMDb page. Is that accurate?
It's the first feature-length screenplay I ever wrote.
That's what I was going to ask. Did you write it on spec?
Oh, absolutely. I had written a TV movie. I mean, it flew through the system. Timothy Hutton was due to star in it right after Ordinary People. Buzz Kulick, who did Brian's Song, was directing it. I was under 30, and I thought, this is an easy business. Here I am in Michigan. Wow. And then 2 weeks before principal photography, Timothy Hutton dropped out with his new representative. Sue Mengler said, oh, he's a movie star. He can't do TV at any price. CBS pulled the plug, and this business is impossible. Yeah. And so then my mentor and friend, he went on to be nominated for an Academy Award for his first screenplay, Absence of Malice. He would win for his second, Out of Africa. He's how I knew you could live in Michigan and do this, because he lives in Michigan and he rarely went out to LA. So Kurt, at a party after my deal fell apart, came up to me and said, have you ever thought about writing about those stories you've told me teaching Shakespeare to soldiers? Because I did that. I did that for years. I taught at a military base. And I said, yeah, I've thought about it. And he said, as long as you're not going to get paid, why don't you write a feature and make more? And I was pretty drunk at this party, and I understood what he meant. Features pay more, right? Yeah. And so then he said, come up with a treatment, and if I like it, I'll option it and pay you to write the screenplay. And I said, Kurt, we're friends. I do not want your charity. And he said, you're an idiot. And then the next morning I woke up, my roof was leaking. I called him up. I said, I might be an idiot. And then basically he taught me things I didn't know existed. And he basically told me in my first draft, it was crap.
Yeah.
Rewrite it. I rewrote it. And he told me, you clearly do not know how to rewrite. And then he invited me up to his place for a weekend. And I watched him take my screenplay apart. And he would just start saying, start talking dialogue. I go, whoa, slow down. Because I was seeing how he was thinking. This was the best class I ever had, just watching him do this. And then I wrote the third draft, and he said to me, this is not all bad. That's the best compliment I've ever been paid. People have told me they thought my screenplays are great. They've paid me a lot of money for them. This isn't all bad from him. Awesome.
Yeah.
My fourth draft, he said, I think we've gone as far as your talent will carry us. Let's get it out there. And so the agent I had on the movie of the week, he had decided to go to work in development. But before he left, he put my screenplay on his boss's desk. He read it, called me up, and said, I don't know who you are or where you live. From now on, I represent you. There's not an ounce of bad on this script. It might take me 2 years. I guarantee you I will sell this. Now, this is a guy who had sold E.T. He represented John Sayles. I knew who he was. Man, I flew out there in a hurry. And he sold it to a producer at Fox, Sarah Carlton, who had a deal there. And when I met with her, she said, are you willing to make changes? And I thought to myself, okay, goodbye Shakespeare, hello Neil Simon.
Right.
And she said, this is really about teaching Shakespeare to soldiers, isn't it? That romantic part you put in there, you think you needed that for commercial purposes. And I said, yeah, guilty. And so she said, okay, I think we can make a deal. And so I flew home, and then no sooner did I land, I had this deal. Now I go back, and she tells me, you've written a wonderful little screenplay, and I'm going to teach you how to write a great big movie.
So Renaissance Man gets bought by Touchstone out of Turnaround.
Yep.
And then when does Penny Marshall become attached?
Okay, I did the seventh draft. So I did 4 with Kurt, 2 with Fox, 7th draft for Touchstone, and they liked it. And so they said, we're going to send it out to directors. And the first one on the list was Penny Marshall, because Sarah had, as an exec, given her big and knew her very well.
Right, and she's coming off A League of Their Own, which is a huge movie.
Oh, my God, yes. Penny was getting it first, and I figured, okay, who's next? But Penny liked it.
Yeah.
But she told me to make it funnier. That was her
Right.
only direction. Sarah told me she means a lot more than that. I'll translate. I did the 8th draft, and then it got the green light. And it was just, then everything moves at warp speed.
Yeah. And were there many changes between the 8th draft after that one note from Penny Marshall and the actual shooting script, or did it pretty much run as written at that point?
It ran pretty much as written. Now, DeVito had a, joke doctor that came in, but Penny made it clear, we're not going to touch anything dealing with the Shakespeare without going to you. So I was never off. And a lot of what was used were things from older drafts of mine.
Right.
I was pretty confident I'd get sole credit, and I did. And she was great. She was just terrific to work with.
Yeah, she's an amazing director. It's funny looking at, because we recorded the body of the episode yesterday, my co-host and I, and we like every time we talk about Penny Marshall, we look at her filmography and we go, she only did 8 movies. How's that possible?
Well, I'll tell you how it's possible. Women directors are not treated as well, especially then, as male directors.
Yeah.
You could have a movie that didn't do, or 2 that didn't do as well as expected. It's not the same.
Yeah.
And now it's much better. And I do think male directors were I don't think they had the respect for the major women directors that they should have.
Jeff and I both have teaching backgrounds to some extent. He's a high school teacher. I've taught adults. My background is electrical engineering. Talking about the movie in 2024, one of the hardest things adult us had to figure out was like, can we get remedial students interested in Hamlet? How is that possible? That actually happened, though.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And there are, when critics would say, oh, this could never happen. And I would say, are you kidding me? There are parts of this movie that are like a documentary. I mean, that literally happened. I mean, once I saw classes were getting it, I took them to see their first Shakespeare. I literally watched them watch the play. That scene in the movie, that's exactly what I was feeling, and exactly how it happened.
Well, it lines up so well, the St. Crispin's Day speech. You're like, this is a soldier giving a speech that was given by a British soldier. Like this should connect with everyone. But seeing it, it's like this soldiers in boot camp should connect with this.
It will work. Even though in real life I didn't have soldiers in boot camp, but I had soldiers, Penny got called to a meeting at the Pentagon. And I think the movie, it's Fort McLean. That's named after the general who Penny met with. He came down and he showed her his high school yearbook of the person who taught him Shakespeare. He said, I want to do this, but we will never say that we lower our standards to let people in.
Right.
And so came up with this idea of, well, maybe they're not doing so well in basics, so maybe if we help them on the mental side. To be honest, the whole double D thing, I thought, okay, if the audience buys it, we're good. But and there were other things dealing with race. And what Penny did was she changed the drill instructor from white to black, and that's where Gregory Hines came in. And she said, trust me, the race is going to play. And she was right. That was a brilliant casting decision because he was amazing.
Yeah, he was incredible.
Yeah.
One of the questions that Jeff had for me was he wanted to know your thought process behind choosing Hamlet specifically rather than another work of Shakespeare. Did you consider any other works of literature in place of Hamlet?
The first plays I taught soldiers were Macbeth, Othello, but eventually I got to Hamlet. And the reason I did it is because of the title, Renaissance Man. It's be all you can be. It's the Army's slogan, right?
Yeah.
Hamlet embodies that in all of those things. Hamlet, he's confronting death. That's what that play is about. And that's why that final test is all about that. It's about coming to terms with mortality and death. That's what soldiers have to do. I figured that's that was the one that resonated.
And you talking about that moment where Danny DeVito has with Corporal Leroy goes to one of our other questions, which is
Houston Leroy.
How much heart this movie has. Like all 7 of the Double D Squad have very distinct backstories, and they all get their moments. Like Melvin Melvin's home life. He has that scene with Mark Wahlberg, and he reads a letter from home, and you're like, I just found out everything I need to know about why this guy's the way he is in like one 60-second scene that I think if you made this movie now, someone would cut out.
Right. One thing Sarah had, after I presented who my class was, at some point she said, I want you to write these up as character profiles, 1 page. It's a great tool she gave me. I've used it forever. But just tell me how their life led to page 1. Penny saw those, and that's what she used for all the actors' auditions. So when I watch the audition tapes, they're just reading my character profiles, and that was pretty cool because you can very quickly communicate, like Brian Davis Jr. always about his daddy.
Well, I think we were both really impressed with how much each of the 7 recruits got to show themselves as a distinct individual and not a cardboard cutout or a placeholder.
Right.
And we're specifically wondering, did you have trouble finding the right tone in the script to make those moments, or was that something that was important?
Oh, no. It was important. Look, Penny, great at, comedy and all that stuff. But when the first thing she said when I met her was, she said, I read it on the plane. It made me cry. I know that's the key to, something like that. If it's not emotional, if you don't stick the landing, you're not going to get it. 2 parts to a story. The ending, everything comes before it. And it's ultimately, it's about how it lands emotionally.
And that kind of leads me to next question, which is that Jeff and I we probably watched this thing 10 times at least in the 90s when it came out on VHS. A lot of our friend group did as well. We spent our whole high school time going 2 times. But now looking back when we do the podcast, theatrically this movie lost money, and we're always trying to figure out, why did this movie that we really liked not have more commercial success? Do you have any insight into that?
Oh, no. I know exactly why. Here's what happened. The movie, even on CineScore, what they did, we were well into the 90s. They knew from the test audiences that they loved it. The problem was it scored too high. And so what this was from the beginning, a back to school movie. Our philosophy was, because my wife's a high school English teacher, she knew that they had gotten English teachers, excited about Henry V, Branagh's thing. Mm-hmm. And so they used the teachers to sell it and do it. So we were for a September opening. Then they said, no, this is going to be a summer blockbuster. And they moved us in between the Flintstones and Maverick, and then Speed, which was a surprise the next week.
Right.
And Lion King coming 2 weeks after us. And so what happened was we started out okay, and then they realized, made a mistake. Mm-hmm. 2 things happened. One was when it came out on VHS, it went crazy. And as a result, Variety wrote this article about how Renaissance Man, found its audience, went crazy. Great for me in terms of residuals. I mean, it would have been great either way. When Sarah talked to the folks at Disney, they said, you were right. We should have done the teacher thing. And they took that strategy and used it for Mr. Holland's Opus, a teacher movie that they sold to every music teacher, and they made their blockbuster. Didn't make us like, oh, that's great. We knew we had a great strategy, but you know what? It's crazy how many people around the world have seen it. So, I'm not complaining. I've had Uber drivers from Africa. My wife will say, did you ever hear of it? And they go, oh, Renaissance Man, Danny DeVito. So, people see it. There have been academics who have written papers on it and why it's such a great teacher's movie and all that stuff. So people have seen it.
People our age will go, oh yeah, I remember that movie. Like exactly like you said, I remember that movie, Danny DeVito. Like he climbed the Victory Tower. I remember that.
Well, I was there the day he did it. It was crazy. And I'll tell you, DeVito is the only person who I've worked with in Hollywood who scared me. I'm not tall, but I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar next to DeVito.
Right.
And man, does he give off a powerful vibe. And he taught me the most critical lesson about how you have to protect your actors. So you know the scene where he gets taken to the principal's office to see the colonel?
Yep.
Cliff Robertson. I remember that was like in the last draft. I remember writing that scene. And the colonel says, you never served in the military, did you? And he says, no. Here's the original line. No. But I once walked 7 miles in the rain from Arlington National Cemetery to the White House, carrying the name of a soldier who needlessly died in Vietnam. And then the colonel says, do you remember that soldier's name? And in that moment, when I asked the question, I realized I had done that. I had not remembered that guy's name. I'm the worst human being ever. So why am I doing my touchdown dance that this line is so good? We're going to shoot that scene. DeVito and one of the producers, Elliot Abbott, motions me over. And DeVito says, how far is it from Arlington to the White House? He says 7 miles. I don't think it's that far. And now I'm going, I always meant to check that. This is before Google, the rest.
Yeah, you can't pull it up on your phone.
No, I was blinded by my own brilliance. And he said, motions to somebody, let's call the Pentagon and find out. I know I'm dead. And so I'm saying, well, maybe we walk there and back. And then he gets it, and it's a little over 2 miles. Mm-hmm. And he looked at me and he said, let me ask you something. When the cards and letters come saying I got this wrong, who are they coming to, you or me? And I'm like, you, Mr. DeVito. And he says, you're right. I'm the one who has to say this shit. And he was right. He's reduced my touchdown dance moment. And I'm like, thank you, because you got to do your work and check it, right?
Yeah.
And that, man, did he school me. It was, and I'm grateful that he checked that, that he was like, that's your job, son.
Yeah, that's an incredible story. And also, that's a great moment in the movie. We talked about it in the episode because everybody gets to show their heart. That's the time when DeVito's like, hey, I was an anti-war protester. And the colonel's like, but do you remember the soldier's name? And he's like, no.
That's me.
But that's the perfect button. And then he just says, well, whatever your political views, you're here at the, you work for the Army now. Like,
right.
We talked about that. We're like, that's just another great, there's so many moments of where the characters get to show who they really are. All of them, even the minor characters. I mean, it's such a beautiful thing about this particular movie.
I appreciate it. What I've been trying to do is what Ken Burns did brilliantly in his Vietnam documentary, is there was a conversation that was not had between the people who protested the war and the people who fought in the war. And that's been a division in our country, that a wound that had not been healed. Renaissance Man was designed to start to be, just because of my experience. The first question the military people asked me the first night of class was, what were you doing during Vietnam?
Right.
And I said, I was trying to bring you home. And the one guy looks at the other guy and he says, well, at least he did something. I'm seriously, that's how I got respect, was by just, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
My Shakespeare education continues to serve me.
Yeah, it's so strange to me. I mean, I guess, I've read Shakespeare, it's been years, but that particular author's body of work continues to connect with pretty much any age audience.
Absolutely true. Again, going back to the Hamlet question, if you've got to throw down on one, Hamlet is still kind of a league of its own in terms of how profound it is. Yeah,
I was thinking after we watched the movie, I was like, I haven't reread Hamlet. I might have to do that. I don't think I've done it in 20 years, but I think I'm gonna.
Yeah, and look, the lines that are in Renaissance Man, this skull once had a tongue in it. And Hamlet's last line, the rest is silence. Figuring out what death is. You have to be alive to tell my story, he tells Horatio.
Yeah, don't fall on your sword.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, taking up a lot of your time, Jim, but thanks so much for your time and thanks so much for your work.
No, I really appreciate it, man. This is great. I love that you know it so well, and that if you ever have any questions, feel free to contact me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's do scenes. What's your first scene?
Dude, first scene is when he pulls up to the army base. He's already gone to the unemployment office. He pulls up to the army base and they stop him at the gate. And he's like, yeah, I need directions to the Army Education Center. And the guy's like, the AEC that's building 2310, park your vehicle in the green zone, step inside and get a pass. And he's like, yeah. I'm not in the Army. I'm running a little late. He's like, can I just drive somewhere? Yeah, you could drive to the green zone, park and get out. And then right after that, he's still lost and he asks somebody and the guy drops all these acronyms on him. And
I got that in my quotes.
Dude, it's so great. And he's like, can I buy a vowel? That whole bit.
Yeah.
That scene is fantastic to me. And I don't know what any of those stand for. I can guess what the AEC is because that's what he just talked about. But I don't know what any of that other stuff is. And that's how when you start a new job, especially in teaching, there's so many acronyms. I hear those kind of things all the time. And I'm like, I still don't know what that means. Just write it down or don't. It doesn't matter. And the whole time dude, I was just like, great.
I love jargon. When I was teaching people who worked offshore and there was all kind of jargon, I would love to
lean into it.
I was like, oh yeah, you guys use the TK421. That's great. But I use it TK789. That's what I like.
Whatever. I got to get to the Big Apple, sister.
Yeah, man, that was awesome. He pulls up to the army base and you immediately see the fish out of water. He's always late. He's driving this freaking, probably brand new at the time, but what looks very old to me now, like janky Thunderbird. And the army guys, dude, he's doing the Buzz Lightyear hand gestures. He's like, you go right to the green zone, park your car.
Yeah, he's pointing with all the
he's
fingers.
Just wandering the base, asking people for help. They just keep spitting out numbers and letters at him. He's like, I don't know.
4 clicks, 3, straight ahead to the 2310.
The first one I had was him teaching the Double D squad. So he gets fired from his advertising job. He goes to the unemployment line. They assign him. He's got a master's degree. He's going to teach people in the army how to be smart.
Right.
Because apparently these 7 people are too dumb to be with the rest of the army people, which
is saying a lot.
Because the regular army people are not lighting the world on fire from a mental standpoint. I think I could say that without hurting anyone's feelings. Some of them are very smart.
Yeah.
Most of them are not.
Yes.
And he's teaching these 7. And for some reason, the way he decides to he's got to teach them how to think so they can be good soldiers.
Right.
He's like, what would be great? Shakespeare, because everyone hates it and it's hard to understand.
Yeah. Boy, do they.
But yeah, he brings them in stuff to read. And they're one guy's reading an Archie comic and one guy's reading freaking Guns and Ammo. One guy's reading a Sports Illustrated.
What the hell's a mulch shoppy?
A mulch shoppy. And then freaking Danny DeVito has a leather-bound freaking golden bust.
Old school.
Version of Hamlet that he's just reading just for fun because I guess he wants them to know that he's super smart.
That's what happens when you go to Princeton.
Yeah, dude. And they're like, what are you reading? He's like, I'm reading Hamlet. She's like, tell him about it. He's like, oh yeah, I know about that guy. I know about Shakespeare. Yeah, he's in the park every summer. He's like, yeah, he's been dead 600 years.
I like how he sells it too, though. They're like, what's that about? And he's like, sex and intrigue and incest.
And
he's trying to get him hooked.
And then the class is like, all right, cool. Tell us more about that. Forget about Sports Illustrated. Talk to us about Hamlet. And then Hamlet is the method he's going to use to connect with these soldiers. I really wanted to talk to the screenwriter because I wanted to ask him, that's the part that is so hard for me to believe that was the method. But that is because that's what happened. He was hired to teach army soldiers that were remedial, and he taught them Shakespeare. And I want to go tell me, I want you to tell me how that happened because this part seems crazy to me because I've talked to people and that seems hard. Yeah.
That's so when I told the English teachers that's what I was doing, when I tell her what it's all about, and she was like, Shakespeare, why would they pick that? None of the kids like it. None of the kids understand it. You literally have to tell them what it's about or they don't get it. But the story itself is a great story as long as you can tell it in a way that's not in old Shakespearean English.
Dude, I like Shakespeare, especially the movies where there's no reading, but because it's a great story. But we read Shakespeare when we were in high school, and I wasn't in the remedial class. I was in the gifted and talented class, which is how you know I have anxiety as an adult. What's your next scene?
Dude, my next scene is when Benitez, who is the kid from New York with the glasses that reminded me of Biggin, they're on duty, and he starts reciting Shakespeare while he's out in the rain. He does the St. Christmas Day speech from King Henry V.
Yeah, they're on bivouac.
Bivouac, whatever that stands for. Do you know what it stands for?
I think it means like camping.
Oh, in the rain with guns.
In the rain. Yeah, and the drill sergeant's like, the rain's coming down. The drill sergeant's doing that drill sergeant thing. He's like, I love the rain. It's like, dude, you have a rain jacket on. No one's making you jump in the mud. Probably a lot better for you.
Yeah, nobody. Your hat's not even getting wet. You got that shower cap over
your
it.
hat has a freaking rain jacket of its own.
Yeah, and they're doing like the night
he does
exercise.
the St. Christmas Day speech. That's great, dude.
Dude, the music starts to get more and more heavy-handed as he goes along, and he freaking nails it. And it even, like the, Sergeant Cass, who is Gregory Hines, and he doesn't even look angry when he's yelling, but I guess he's supposed to. He even it even moves him, and I liked it. That whole bit was awesome.
That's a great scene. I love the St. Christmas Day speech, and that actor I thought did a really good job with it. Benitez, Lilo Brancato Jr. Who was also in like A Bronx Tale and then was on Sopranos. Like he was did a great job.
Yeah,
and that was an awesome scene.
When he delivered it, though, like in his New York accent.
Yeah.
And he was like turning around and getting the other people involved that were standing around. I like that. That was.
And of course, the speech is before a battle, England versus France.
Right.
Given from a soldier to a bunch of other soldiers. So a soldier giving it like out on maneuvers or whatever while everyone else is standing around with their guns. Like, kind of perfect setting for that. Even though I'm sure no one understood what he was talking about. But yeah, dude, it was awesome.
Yeah. By the way, I said that what's his name? Gregory Hines isn't that scary. Did you see who was supposed to be Gregory Hines' part?
No, I didn't.
They were going to give it to Ving Rhames.
Nice.
But Ving Rhames had something from Quentin Tarantino for Pulp Fiction, so he had to do that instead, or he chose to do that instead.
Dude, Gregory Hines is awesome, man. I love him.
He is great. I didn't believe he was super angry, but he was good.
Yeah. But I don't think I would believe that a real drill sergeant was angry because I know that's what they're supposed to be doing. Anytime someone's like performatively yelling, I just assume that's just part of it. And I'm like, it's not as believable to me. I mean, it would be if they could make me do push-ups. But if I'm like Danny DeVito, I'm like, hey, man, why don't you just take it down a notch? Because I'm not going to do any push-ups and I don't work for you.
Potty trained at gunpoint. Yeah. Just make fun of him straight to his face.
My second one is one of the scenes that I remember most from this movie, which is where Danny DeVito does the victory tower.
Oh, man. When his little
he shows
tiny
up late to
feet.
class, and dude, the whole class is like gets pissed off and just leaves.
Yeah,
and they go to the Victory Tower, which is the huge freaking jungle gym for adults that the army climbs on.
And
he's like yelling. He's like, "I got 15 minutes. I want them." And then Gregory Hines, the drill sergeant, is like, "I don't think they can hear you from down here."
Yeah.
And so he's like in his freaking, in his child's husky pants with his shiny dress shoes. And he goes to climb up there, and then one of the other drill sergeants goes to grab him, and Gregory Hines stops him. He's like, "Nah, let him go."
Oh man,
dude, he's climbing up there, yelling. He's like, "Benitez!" He's like, "Montgomery, pay attention to me." He's like, "Can't right now, Teach."
And he's all the way at the top.
Dude, he gets all the way to the top, then he has to rappel down. It's freaking great.
And they got
Melvin
his junk all
belaying him,
squished in there, and they're making fun of him. Ah, man.
Dude, and like Melvin's got the rope on the bottom. He's like, "We got you tied up here." He's got you down there. He looks over. He's like, "Melvin!" He's like, "He's going to be asleep before I hit the ground." He's like, "No, he's not. It's going to be fine." And dude, and then he does the world's most awkward rappel, which is freaking fantastic. And it's definitely not a stunt, man. It's great.
It is. And dude, when he goes back first and his feet are on the thing and he's just at the top leaning out, and I'm like, oh, he's doing pretty good. I remember this now. And then he starts going down. And he's going like just one little board at a time down, and he's tapping his
he's
feet.
going like a half an inch at a time, and his feet are like getting out all wide. He's like doing a straddle. Everyone's cheering for him.
He spins around and gets stuck with his back to the back. That's a great scene.
Yeah, dude. I always remember that one from this movie.
That's a good scene. My last one is at the very end. The whole time, Bill Rago, who is they slice it right in front of you. He has tried very hard to get the file for this one private's father, who is Davis. And he tries to get the get the file so he can prove that his dad was a good military, a good armyman, and he was a hero. And they said it at the end, and they told the whole story.
Yeah.
I really liked it. Like, it got me in the feels a little bit right there too. And I was just like, oh man, that's friggin' Brian Davis Jr. Or Brian Davis Sr. That whole scene was fantastic. And at the very end.
Yeah, man, that was awesome. I really liked that because it's also when they graduate basic training and like all the Double T crew graduates, and Danny DeVito's there with his daughter. The Love Boat. So we'll be making another run. That girl from Sister Act 2.
Sister Act 2, yeah.
And gets the file for Private Davis's dad who died in Vietnam, and the whole movie's been telling like, shut up about your dad. Your dad wasn't a hero. Your dad's probably an idiot.
Right.
And he gets the file and he gives it to the whatever freaking colonel or commandant or whoever's in charge of shit. Commandant, I think, is in charge of the police academy. I think this is the colonel.
I definitely don't know.
Yeah, but then he like makes an announcement at his freaking podium, and he's like, we want to recognize this soldier who did this thing called an artillery strike. Like,
right.
we want to present his son with his father's silver star. I was like, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. And the fact that he had to go through all of the different channels to get the thing, and they wouldn't give it to him, and he finally got it to give to the guy to fix it. That was great.
Yeah, man, that was awesome. My third scene was actually where he got the file because he met a staff sergeant and he was taking her on a date. And where was he taking her on a date?
Burger King.
Burger King.
Oh man, if you could find a chick that enjoys you at 4 feet 10 inches and also will go on a date with you,
wants to be taken out on date night to Burger King, and they weren't even sitting at a booth; they're sitting at one of the 2 people tables in the middle of the restaurant.
In the middle.
And dude, it's not like he's 16 and he took her out to Burger King because he borrowed his dad's station wagon. Like, he's in his 40s. He's got a kid that's like getting ready to go to college.
Oh
he's
man,
like,
that's
Burger
great.
King okay? And she's like, yeah, sounds awesome. But he's there, and then the other privates, or not the
it was
the corporal's wife, Leroy comes in, and she has the file, and then he brings the file to them at the bivouac, and then that's the St. Christmas Day speech. I had both of those smashed together, even though it's 2 scenes, but that was my third scene, so it's one you already mentioned, and just the fact that he's taking his date to Burger King.
I like how it was Richard T. Jones's baby mom, like the baby mama was who it was. That was cool. Yeah. I like how they brought it all together. Awesome. Dude, I put on there that I was like, Burger King, you could find you a woman that'll let you take her to Burger King. You hang on to that woman. That's awesome.
I mean, I'm not above, on a road trip, if we get hungry, we might pull into Wendy's and stop. But if Wendy's like, hey, we got a babysitter on Saturday, I go, great, Burger King?
Burger King.
Like, that's not, I mean, she's not going to divorce me, but she's also not going to go.
Yeah, she'll just skip.
Yeah. Quotes. My first quote is the one you were talking about, where right when he first gets to the base, he's like, I'm looking for Captain Murdoch. He's like, Captain Murdoch's not in the AEC. He's at the ARC. He's like,
he's writing it all down.
The AEC is building 2310. You want to build it in 4475. He's like, so here's what you do. You go take it right here, take another right to PX, half a click till you see the DPTM center, and then take a left. And if you hit the RFPC, you've gone too far.
Jeez.
And dude, he's like writing furiously, and he's looking at his index cards. It's just full of letters and numbers. He's like, can I buy a vowel?
Oh, man. Classic.
And it's not like that's a really hilarious quote, but it was a great moment for him to arrive there. And clearly, like, it's a whole new world.
Yeah.
With new horizons to pursue.
That's right.
I'll chase them anywhere. There's time to spare. And dude, and then like 15 minutes later, someone asks him for directions, and he starts like doing the same, like spouting off the same gibberish. I was like, yeah, see, now he knows where stuff is.
Dude, I don't know what any of those letters mean. Like, even as you were saying them, I was like, all right, let me see if I can figure out.
The PX is where you buy stuff. That's where it's like they're freaking Walmart, but you get a military discount. I know that one. The AEC is the Army Education Center. We knew that one. The rest, I think, is like the numbers are addresses. I don't know DPTM, RFPC.
What's half a click? Is that half a mile? Half a kilometer?
That's 500 meters. 500 half a kilometer.
I did not know any of that. I would be no good in the Army, but we know that. My very first quote is when he's taking roll and he's going through all the different names, and he gets to Melvin, and he doesn't even say the second half of his last. He's like Charlotte, North Carolina, Melvin. That right there, I probably have said 20 times since I started teaching. They'll have somebody with a name that sounds so close to what their first name is, it'll be like Smithy Smith. I taught a Smithy Smith. And that's just where I'm like, Melvin. I say it every time, so I had to throw it in there. And dude, the kid who played, she's not a kid now, but the guy who played Melvin.
Yeah, Gregory Sporliter.
That dude, he did a great job.
Yeah, and when we did A League of Their Own in '92, and he's Mitch Swaley, you're like, Melvin. That's Melvin.
One step up from a pig.
He's also in True Romance, Melvin, again.
It's an important step. I like that dude, and I like that quote, Melvin. That's my first one.
Yeah, that's great. The other one I had was he's teaching them about the different parts of speech, simile, metaphor, and the last one he's teaching them about is oxymorons.
I had this one
and
too.
Dude, freaking Kadeem Hardison, Private Montgomery, who never stops talking.
Dude, he's
great.
Like,
He's like, hey, I know oxymoron. And Danny DeVito goes, no, not oxymoron, schmuck. Oxymoron. I like that Kadeem Hardison thinks that he's calling him a name, and then Danny DeVito actually calls him a name.
Yeah. I need to start using schmuck. I wonder if that would get me in trouble at school.
I feel like no one in Punchtool knows what any like Yiddish slang.
A schmuck. That was actually my third quote, where he's just like, hey, man, I know oxymoron. And he's like, no, it's like when you take two words that are totally opposite and jam them together, like military intelligence. I can remember quoting that with Biggin. Like, I can remember where I was sitting at the farm talking about this movie and saying that and just laughing because it was friggin' Dwayne Wayne saying it. Oh, God, that's friggin', that's a great quote. It's a great quote. My other one.
Kadeem Hardison was hilarious and also got on my nerves because he's never stopped talking.
There's so many kids like that, dude.
Dude, and he was always the guy who was like, hey, no, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And then freaking Corporal Leroy would be like, shut up.
I freaking love Richard T. Jones.
Me too, man. Everybody in the ensemble I had such a hard time picking because all of them are great.
Dude, Richard T. Jones in The Wood, when he shows up, he's like, what grits? Ain't nobody cooking your ass breakfast, man. Go.
Ain't nobody cooking your ass breakfast.
Where the aspirin at?
God, I love The Wood.
Can't wait to do it.
Yeah.
The other one that I picked, I already kind of said, it's when he asked him to write something. And again, being a teacher, this happens all the time. You're just like, all right, just write why you're here. Because this is where they told us to be. And he's like, no, the magical twist of fate that prompted you to gravitate towards this Institute of Imbeciles. And they're totally confused. I freaking love that. That's fantastic. And the fact that they take everything and what's his name? Private Brian Davis. He's like, so do you want us to write that across the top? Like, why we joined the Army? Like, I freaking love that because dude, these kids are the kids I teach are just like this.
Yeah, all that stuff rang very true to me. The part that didn't ring true is that they're all very into Shakespeare suddenly, and they do a really good job of writing about themselves.
Yeah,
and then they have a real blast getting in the back of the cargo van to go watch Shakespeare.
Dude,
in their army uniforms later.
No seats in it. What was that?
Yeah, dude, no seats, no seat belts. Even though they're going off base, they have to wear their army uniforms.
Ah, man.
They drive to Canada, which seems like a really long trip. In the movie, it seemed like a long trip, but really, if you're in Detroit, you could just go to Canada like to go get cheaper groceries and then come right back. It's not a big deal at all.
Yeah, you don't have to.
My last quote is, just because we said it all the time, 2 times.
2 times.
You just slap hands. You go 2 times, then you slap hands again, and that's it. Very simple.
Very, very, very simple. That and Black Side from Scrubs, I do a lot.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm fingering the pulse of America's youth. I know what they want.
Yeah,
they want 2 times.
Yeah, and I liked it at the end. I didn't put it in my scenes, but I kind of wanted to. When he's going to give him a final exam to graduate from his 6-week course of learning how to think through Hamlet.
Yeah.
And then the Army's like, you can't make him take a test, because if you make him take a test and they fail the test, we're going to kick him out of the Army.
Yeah.
And they got to go work at Burger King where you take your dates. And so he's like telling him, he's like, you don't have to take the test. And they're like, ho, like high-fiving. Yeah, no test. He's like, you don't have to take the test. He's like, but you could. He's like, do we get some extra? Do we get like some extra money? He's like, no, you don't get anything.
Yeah.
He's like, you get a gift, but it's not a gift that you can see or drive or use. You feel it in here. And then they're like, what the hell kind of gift is that?
Oh, man, they were all looking around. What?
And so proving that they actually stayed dumb even at the end. They all come and take the test anyway, even though they didn't need to.
Stupid
Horrible
kids.
idea.
Yeah. Because if they fail, they get kicked out.
they're out of the Army. But then it turns out the test is an oral exam. He just asks some questions in a big group.
Yeah.
But dude, that scene, that like montage was freaking so satisfying because he's asking them all. He's asking Mark Wahlberg. He's like, Laertes. He's like, man, he's like, give me somebody else. He's like, Laertes. He's like, Laertes is a fool. And he goes in this rant about how stupid Laertes is. Like, they all know this shit. And they're talking about Hamlet and they're freaking breaking it down. And he's like elbow bumping and 2 times, like slapping hands. It's just great.
Good quotes. Who's your first character?
Danny DeVito.
Of course. He's so good.
Yeah, dude. And the only movie we've really done him in is freaking Penguin.
Yeah.
Batman Begins to Return Forever. Tim Burton, Batman Returns, 1992. That's the only Danny DeVito movie we've done so far on the podcast. Yeah. So we haven't really got a chance to talk about it that much because he's so weird in that movie. But he's freaking awesome, man.
He is definitely one of my favorites. And I'm sure, I mean, I can't think of any offhand because, like, I don't see us doing, like, Matilda. And I'm trying to think of the ones he's in that I can remember.
Yeah, I mean, juniors this year, we're not doing that. We'll do Get Shorty next year.
Oh, Get Shorty, yeah, he's in that.
And then we'll do Mars Attacks. He's in that. And we'll probably do like LA Confidential and Gattaca and stuff like that in 97.
Ooh, Gattaca, yeah, I like that one.
So we'll do a little bit of it, but yeah, like, and the other stuff will be like Twins. Like that's 1988. We're doing that year right now on the podcast. We might get to that one. I don't know if we're gonna.
I hope so. I like that.
I do too, but it depends on how much we get caught up on Patreon stuff.
Yeah.
Free 7-day trial, by the way. And like Throw Mama from the Train, 1987. Like I'm open to any of that. Just depends on how much time we get on the Patreon side.
Maybe we could just do a series of Jersey Mike commercials.
But looking at his filmography, it's all stuff that I like.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying.
Freaking like Taxi and Terms of Endearment and freaking Twins and
like going backwards, Jewel of the Nile and like what's the first one? The Romancing the Stone.
Romancing the Stone.
Like I love those, so we should definitely hit those on the way back.
And even in the 90s, dude, he does so much stuff. He does like Reality Bites, Renaissance Man, Get Shorty, Space Jam, Mars Attacks, Rainmaker, LA Confidential, Hercules, Gattaca, Out of Sight, Man on the Moon, Virgin Suicides. Like that's it has a really like the 90s. I think is probably his most prolific decade of work. I don't think I would ever think to name him as one of my favorite actors, but every time I see him, I'm like, Danny DeVito, freaking right. I love this guy.
Dude, I used to love him in the reruns of Taxi that I used to watch.
Yeah,
Louis. One thing about him in there, when he first meets Captain Murdoch, he asks him about military experience, and then Danny DeVito says like he did his anti-war march in the cemetery, National Cemetery in Arlington. The cool thing is he's 4'10", so that's 2 inches below the minimum height to serve in the U.S. Armed Forces. So they wouldn't have let him in anyway.
Yeah,
4'10".
Yeah, well, he's got Fairbanks disease, which is a genetic disorder that affects bone growth. So that is why he is 4'10".
Right.
But I really liked we didn't talk about that scene either, but that was awesome because he's talking to whoever's in charge. I think the colonel.
Yeah.
And he's asking about his war experience. He's like, yeah, the captain, whatever. And he's telling him like his experience of the Vietnam War was I did a march through Washington with a soldier's name on a placard on my chest. And then the army guy's like, do you remember the soldier's name? And he's like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, it's freaking perfect. That's a perfect interaction. He's like, this is how much I don't like the army. I was protesting the Vietnam War. And the guy's like, do you even remember what the guy's name was? The soldier's name is, no, I don't.
That's, dude, that.
He's like, well, then remember that you're here working for the army.
Right,
like,
right.
Think whatever you think, but like you're here on our dime.
Right.
Like that's awesome, man. That's really good.
Yeah, I love me some Danny DeVito. He's great. That's my first character also. My second one I picked was Private Jamal Montgomery, Kadeem Harrison. Just because
he's awesome.
I love me some Dwayne Wayne. I think it's great. I don't like it when students are like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. And like that kind of thing. But when they talk a lot, those are the kids that when you ask a question, even if they get it wrong, they'll raise their hands and answer it just to keep the class moving forward. Or if somebody says something stupid, they'll respond and that gets the dialogue going. And I freaking love kids like that. And I would take him in my class any day.
He's awesome. Different Strokes?
No, not Different Strokes. A Different
Not
World.
Different Strokes. What's A Different World? Yeah, the Cosby Show spinoff that he was on.
Yeah.
But dude, totally right. If you're teaching kids who mostly all don't want to be there, you need kids in there that are always going to participate, even if they get on your nerves.
Right.
And he was funny. He was just too much.
Yeah.
My second character is Gregory Hines, Drill Sergeant Cass. I always remember him in this movie. I think he's got a freaking great mustache. He's really good at being the drill sergeant.
He does have a great mustache. He didn't tap dance quite enough for me in this one because I like when he dances.
Didn't tap dance hardly at all. Like he started tap dancing at age 2 and like got kind of famous as a dancer. Didn't tap dance at all as a drill sergeant. Like maybe the least qualified actor to be a drill sergeant, a guy who grew up as a professional tap dancer. But dude, he's awesome.
Yeah, he did do a good job. Knowing now that we could have had Ving Rhames yelling at him, freaking, we have the meats. That would have been awesome.
Dude, Ving Rhames is almost too scary to be a drill sergeant. Like, I don't think they're usually that big.
Yeah, he's huge. But dude, I had Gregory Hines also. He's just the way he comes around at the end as a character and salutes Danny DeVito as he's walking away whistling. Dude, I like that.
He's also doing the thing when he gets angry. It's like he's doing the like gesture in people's faces with his like knife edge chop. He's like all up in Danny DeVito's face. He's like, hey man, just take it down a notch.
Yeah.
I don't know who taught them that, but they were doing that a lot. All the army people.
That's because doesn't that make you upset and angry? And that's what they're trying to do is make all these poor privates and cadets angry and scared.
Who's your next character?
Gregory Hines is my third. So
nice.
Who's your
my third? Was I had a hard time because I wanted to do somebody from the class, and they all did such a good job.
Yeah.
I ended up going with Stacey Dash just because I knew we weren't going to get a chance to talk about her very much, but she was really good in this.
She was really good in this.
And also, I don't know when we're going to do another movie that she's in.
Clueless?
Yeah, dude, Clueless for sure. We'll do that. That's a good call.
I mean, when was that? 90?
That's 95. That's next
95.
year. But like we didn't do Mo Money in 92, which is the other one that I would have wanted to talk to about her in. And Clueless is her big movie, obviously, but she's really good in this.
Yeah, she did a great job in this. I've always
I liked her character, dude. She had like a compelling backstory, and she did a good job of presenting it. She's the only girl in the group.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of the ensemble cast, that's the Double D squad, were really good. Marky Mark's in there, Mark Wahlberg, doing a not great, to me, Georgia accent.
Yeah, it wasn't perfect. Dude, I thought Brian Davis Jr. did a great job too. He was just
Yeah, the actor that played Brian Davis Jr., Peter Simmons. He did a great job. Alana Ubach, who's the Love Boat, his daughter, she's awesome. She's not in the movie very much. But she does a really good job.
Dude,
it's Penny Marshall, man. Like this, the movie's well cast and it's well acted and it's well directed.
The daughter was in. Remember when she was in Waiting with Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah, with Ryan Reynolds.
And she was the chick that was just like, you'd be yelling at everybody, smoking, crack her neck, and walk out there and ask how the rice pilaf was.
Yeah. Dude, and she's in Legally Blonde. I totally forgot she was in that.
Yeah.
She's in Meet the Fockers. Like
She's the mom in Ted, the TV show, and freaking kills it, dude. She's so good.
Yeah, man. And then Penny Marshall, the director, we've talked about her a bunch. Do you have stuff about Penny Marshall?
Dude, this is the other. I remember talking about her when we did A League of Their Own. Yeah. When I pulled up her filmography, I thought it was going to be bigger. Like I thought she directed more stuff. She did Jumpin' Jack Flash and Big, A League of Their Own, Renaissance Man, Preacher's Wife, Riding in Cars with Boys, and dude, that's it.
Yeah, she did 7 movies.
That's crazy. Because when I think of great directors, especially if somebody throws that caveat and says female directors, she's one of my go-to. And I know it's because we love A League of Their Own so much, and that's why we
for people our age, if you directed Big and A League of Their Own, all right, you're done. You don't have to do anything else. Like you're a huge success.
Yeah.
And then you come in and you do like those are like home run, slam dunk, sports metaphor of your choice. That's as good as it can get. But then she's also got Renaissance Man and Preacher's Wife, which are both really good movies.
Yeah, agreed.
And then she's got Awakenings, which I don't really know about, and she's got Riding in Cars with Boys, which I could take or leave.
Yeah,
but it's like that's a pretty good hit rate.
Yeah, she did all right.
But yeah, dude, Big and League of Their Own, that's incredible.
Yeah, those are both jams. I had a couple more bonus good. Do you got any more for the writer director?
No, I did want to talk about the producer.
Oh, the producer. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it said early on Andrew Vanja.
Yeah,
Hungarian producer, and I was like, oh, I recognize that guy's name. He's a Hungarian film producer who did stuff like Rambo, Total Recall, Tombstone, Die Hard with a Vengeance, Terminator 3. But like this particular, I feel like there's a really interesting documentary that could be made about, because he's like started a bunch of companies and they've all like gone out of business, and I don't understand how. Like this particular movie was produced under his second production company after his first one either got sold or went out of business. It was called Synergy, and it said like most of the movies they produced lost money, but like looking at like the first one was Medicine Man, remember that one?
Yeah.
And then he did Tombstone, which we did on the podcast last year. Then it's Renaissance Man. Then it's Color at Night. Then it's Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Vengeance, hell yes.
And then it's Judge Dredd. And then it's The Scarlet Letter. And then it's Nixon, which gets like 4 Academy Award nominations.
Yeah.
And then it's Evita. Like 3 of those movies made hundreds of millions of dollars. And then like 3 or 4 of them made almost no money.
Right.
But I'm like adding it up. I'm like, he still made a bunch of money. I don't understand how this...
Why is that more popular?
Why this production company folded. And it ended up, he sold the production company to Disney. And then Disney sold off Die Hard with a Vengeance to Fox. And then like 10 years later, Disney bought Fox anyway and then brought it back into the catalog.
That's crazy. Dude, the first thing, when I pulled up his Wikipedia while you were talking about him, I saw that he was born on my birthday, August 1st. So that was cool.
Yep.
Then he was born in Budapest. And I was like, cool. You know what other movie takes place in Budapest? I Spy. Do you know what he produced in 2002? I Spy.
I Spy.
That's freaking great. He's the producer of that.
How you gonna hit me all hard in my arm?
When you get up, sit down.
Gundars.
I showed that to the kids. If CC yells Gundars one more time, Kat's gonna freaking kill her.
I've never showed that to anyone who thought it was nearly as funny as it actually is.
You need to come watch it with my kids, dude.
It's only been disappointing when I've showed that to people. They're like, I don't know, I guess it's all right. I'm like, get out, leave the house.
Dude, Kat had a sweatshirt. She just put a jacket on. And Cece went, Gundars! That's a fly jacket. I was so proud. Oh, it was so great. So great.
All right, give us a bonus good.
Oh, dude. All right, so this is Mark Wahlberg's first, this is his film acting debut for this one. Also, the lady, Miss Coleman, that's at the unemployment office, that's Aunt Helen from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She's also the grandma on The Preacher's Wife to make it circular.
Which is also Penny Marshall.
Right. And also, she's a backup Vegas singer on Sister Act 2, which we've also done on this podcast. I like that he drinks Dewar's, because I drink Dewar's. I like Dewar's.
Yeah, here's scotch in a glass.
Yeah.
Where am I aspirin? With a 7 aspirin back. Yeah, dude, in the advertising agency, his boss is Ed Begley Jr. and his secretary is Ann Cusack.
Yeah, it's so great. And those people are in there for, what, 3 minutes?
Yeah, like 5 minutes at the most.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then they're gone from the movie, but they're awesome.
Yeah.
Did you have any worst?
Dude, I had a couple of worst. I felt like some of the comedy was forced, but I couldn't tell if it was just 90s and that's how they did stuff. Because, like, we were rewatching this summer, watched Full House, and that all feels forced. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe that's just how it was. Like, when you're making a comedy, you want to make sure maybe it got punched up and Dwayne Wayne had to say that like that, and it seemed forced. I just think some of that felt a little...
Well, like Full House and stuff like that, it's like, wasn't that show laugh tracked?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like all those, like, sitcoms...
Yeah, I hate laugh tracks,
when you watch that back now, it's like, dude, that's really... really awkward, even like Seinfeld and stuff. And Friends. Yeah, I don't know. And Penny Marshall started in TV. Obviously, she was Laverne in Laverne and Shirley, or she was Shirley. I don't know. I never watched that show, but that's where she started. So maybe there was some of that. Yeah, I get that. Effects,
dude.
I didn't have any.
The rain looked really good. You know how I have the problem with the rain.
Yeah, no,
the rain looked really good. The lightning
looked like rain to me. It was wet as hell.
Looked horrible. The lightning was really bad. You could tell it was just a guy like flipping on a lamp and turning it on.
Turn on a really powerful flashlight.
Look,
it's lightning. We should get inside.
Yeah,
dude. Old tech. I didn't really have any.
He used a payphone in one.
He did use a payphone. I like when he does that. And I also liked when when the guys were harmonizing outside the unemployment office. That's not old tech. I just enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a cappella. Everybody loves it. I had watching them eat in the army while Gregory Hines yells at them. Eat now, taste it later.
Now, we taste later.
Yeah, it's so bad. I don't want it.
It's terrible.
I don't want anybody yelling at me to eat like that. And then I had that there had no seats in the van, and the whole way home, Melvin was leaning against the back doors all the way back from Canada, and that seemed unsafe.
Yeah, dude. It's definitely super unsafe. But I mean, they're in the army, so people are shooting at them during the day, so it's probably fine.
What about ROCK in the USA? That whole part.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that was
When they were all yelling James Brown, they got so excited when they said a black person's name. Ridiculous.
that was awesome. 5 questions. Is it okay for kids?
Dude, I think so, right? I said 6 and up. My kids didn't watch it with me, but I think it'd be
I don't know how
fine.
much they'd enjoy it, but I think it's totally kid friendly.
Yeah, I think so too.
Would this movie get made if it were pitched now?
Dude, it would be streaming, right? They couldn't release this in the theater.
They definitely, I don't think they do any comedies in theater anymore. I was actually listening to a podcast interview with Vince Vaughn, and he said something about studio comedies that I'd never thought of before, because we're always going like, why aren't there as many movies? And his theory, which I actually think is really smart, is that Netflix decided instead of spending $20 million to produce a comedy film, they could give a stand-up like Bill Burr $20 million for a special, and then they know that that's going to make, like, they know how much money that's going to make. There's no chance of production overruns.
Right.
And, like, they don't have to do anything. They just go, here's your check, bring us back your hour.
Yeah.
And it does kind of make sense because Netflix, a lot of the streaming sites have a ton of stand-up.
Right.
Mostly from people who are not funny.
Yeah.
And I guess they're thinking, like, instead of comedy movies, we can just have stand-up specials because those are way cheaper to produce, especially if you give them to people who aren't Bill Burr or Jim Gaffigan.
That's no good.
Like, you don't have to write huge checks. You can just go like, hey, person who's good on TikTok, here's $500K, make us a special, and we're going to put it up on our platform.
Yeah. Deadpool Wolverine, is that action? That's not a comedy.
I mean, that's an action movie that's funny. I mean, there's still
funny.
movies still need to be funny, even sad ones, but like there's no just like the last I think the last successful comedy movies, mainstream big studio comedy movies were like the Horrible Bosses ones.
Oh yeah.
Like they did a couple
Jeez,
of those.
that seems
or like
like
the
a long
game
time.
night one, they did that one a couple of years ago. But like they just don't do, they used to do an absolute pile of them, and they just don't do that many of them anymore. But he was being interviewed by Jason Bateman, and they did Couples Retreat, and they did Dodgeball. And he's like, dude, do you miss comedies? He's like, yeah. He's like, I've been doing serious stuff. I would love to do some big comedies. There just aren't as many of them out there. And then he said that he thinks that's why. And I was like, well, Vince Vaughn probably knows why they're not making comedies, because if they were, they would call him. So yeah, man, I don't know if they did this, it would definitely be streaming. I don't know if they would. I don't know if they would try to make it like serious and sad and depressing and get rid of all the comedy.
That's horrible. That's horrible. Who wants that? Not me.
Not me.
To answer the next question though, would you go into make it a TV show and you can get further into the characters of the kids?
I think you could make it a movie or a TV show. You could make it funnier. You could make it sadder. There's something anyone would.
Yeah.
Did you do any recasting?
Dude, I wanted Jason Sudeikis to be Bill Rago.
Yeah.
I loved him in Ted Lasso, and I think he could bring the heart and the comedy perfectly.
Yes, he would be awesome. I was going to say he actually looks like he's in too good a shape. You'd have to get really at it. Because I think part of the funny thing is that Danny DeVito's on the military base and he's clearly a fish out of water. But like Sudeikis is like in good shape and has a big ass mustache. Like he could be a military person.
Yeah, he looks like he might be in it.
He'd have to get out of shape. I initially thought you were saying Jason Segel, and I love that idea too. Because
he's good
is
too.
Like chubby and goofy.
Yeah, I like him. I like him. We could do either one.
Yeah. What else you got?
That's all I got. That's the only person I tried to recast. Because if you put young kids that are in their early 20s, I don't know who any of them are. So I just left it blank. So I don't know. And then you look at like, who do you put in? I want Ving Rhames to be the drill sergeant still. Can I do that or no?
Yeah, dude, if Ving Rhames starts yelling at me, even in my mid-40s, I'll start doing push-ups. I'm terrified.
We have the meats.
He'd be like, can I be a drill sergeant with a cold-ass pork pie hat? Like,
yeah.
You dress however you want if you're the drill sergeant, 'cause everyone's going to listen.
Put a rain jacket on it, and I totally believe it.
I feel like a vest will make my neck too big.
You know what? She probably fits in a 4, but she'd look really fine if you put her in a 3.
Yeah, man. This one's not streaming anywhere. I had to rent it for $3.99 on Google, which is the last couple movies we've done, which makes sense because they were in the 50s.
Shocking.
They didn't crack the top 50 of 1994. They are hard to find now unless you pay money for them. But I was happy to pay it because it's a fun movie.
Yeah, dude. Now that I know that I have a DVD player on my computer, I just go and get it out of my stack. So it's great.
Yeah, dude. You're living the dream. Okay, next episode. Hudsucker Proxy.
Yeah, that's a jam too. I really like it.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. Maybe we'll try and get a guest for that movie. Who knows? Once the spirit moves us, we might get into it.
The spirit will move you.
Speaking of, the full interview with screenwriter Jim Burnstein is going to be up on Patreon. It's 45 minutes-ish, so it's a lot longer than the 20 minutes we put in this episode.
It's great.
He's got some killer stories that were
Such good
incredible.
stories.
and that I absolutely massacred to get him into the time frame we have for our episodes. But dude, the full version, like he's talking about how the script got bought out of Turnaround. It's unbelievable how many people touched this thing before it got made, which is like, how do movies ever get made?
Crazy.
And he talks about his screenwriting program at Michigan, all the people that he brings in to work on that. Some of the new script ideas that he's working on that are not yet in production. It's super cool. It's, especially if you like to kind of deep dive, like inside baseball stuff. That full interview on Patreon is incredible. If you want to support us, Patreon is a great way. You can do it for only $5 a month, or you can do a free 7-day trial. You can go to patreon.com/movielifecrisis or our website and check that out.
Vaya con Dios.
Vaya con Dios. Thanks for listening to Movie Life Crisis. Please subscribe, rate, and review. And remember, don't drive angry.